Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master Coin Enthusiasts and Treasure Hunters from around the world. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and jaw-dropping stories in the world of rare coins. Imagine holding a dime, just 10 cents, in your hand, flipping it casually between your fingers, and suddenly realizing that it could be worth more than $6 million. That's not a fantasy or a scene from a movie. That is the true story surrounding the ultra-rare 2004 Roosevelt dime, a small and seemingly ordinary coin with extraordinary value due to shocking mint errors, unexplained anomalies, and mysterious circumstances that continue to puzzle experts and collectors alike. This video is going to take you on a journey like no other. We will explore every single detail of the 2004 P1 dime, break down the specific errors that set this coin apart from the millions of others minted that year, and discuss why collectors have placed such an astronomical value on this tiny piece of metal. But this isn't just about one coin. This is about the world of numismatics, where history, mystery, and money all collide in the palm of your hand. Let's begin with the basics. The Roosevelt dime is a 10-cent coin that has been in continuous production by the United States Mint since 1946, featuring President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse. The 2004 P dime was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and by all accounts, should be just another common coin. Billions of these dimes circulate through the U.S. economy, tossed into change jars, vending machines, and cash registers. But in the midst of all that mass production, something extraordinary happened. A handful, maybe even just one, of the 2004 P dimes emerged with such unusual characteristics that it turned heads in the numismatic community and shocked the coin collecting world. The story begins when a collector in the northeastern United States came across an unassuming dime that felt different. The coin displayed signs of unusual wear, but also had certain features that didn't align with any known minting practices. The more it was examined, the clearer it became: this was no ordinary dime. It bore anomalies that simply shouldn't exist, not in a modern coin, and especially not from the highly controlled environment of the Philadelphia Mint. Some said it was an error coin. Others suspected it might be a pattern or experimental strike. And then, as experts and collectors began to weigh in, the speculation began to grow. Could this dime actually be worth millions? Let's talk about the first error that caught everyone's attention: the double die reverse. On a genuine 2004 P error specimen, close examination under magnification reveals doubling on the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse of the coin. While doubling is a known mint error, it is exceptionally rare on dimes, especially ones from recent decades. A strong double die reverse can result in the letters, leaves, and even flames on the torch appearing thicker, shadowed, or distorted. For the 2004 P dime, this doubling was extremely prominent and crisp, a sign that it occurred at the hubbing stage of die production rather than being the result of post-mint damage. But that's just the beginning. This particular specimen also displayed a striking off-center error, where the image was not properly aligned with the center of the coin. Off-center errors can range from slight misalignments to dramatic shifts where only half of the design appears. The 2004 P dime in question showed a 10 to 15% off-center strike, which, when combined with the double die reverse, made it doubly rare. Off-center strikes are prized among collectors, especially when the date and mint mark remain visible, which they did on this coin. Then came the discovery of a repunched mint mark, or RPM. This means that the P mint mark on the coin, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia, was struck more than once in slightly different positions. Repunched mint marks are remnants of a bygone era when mint marks were manually punched into coin dies. Although that practice officially ended in the 1990s, some numismatists believe transitional periods can produce such anomalies when old dies are reused or experimental processes are tested. The 2004 P dime appears to show a faint shadow of a secondary P just beneath or beside the main mint mark, an almost ghostly signature of an error not seen in other dimes from that year. What makes this even more puzzling is the surface of the coin. Microscopic analysis suggested unusual metal composition, traces of nickel content inconsistent with typical clad compositions used for Roosevelt dimes. Could it have been struck on a planchet intended for another denomination? A few experts speculated that it may have been accidentally struck on a foreign coin blank or experimental test planchet. Others suggested it might have been a transitional error during the mint's internal testing processes, which are seldom made public. Such strikes, if proven authentic, are among the rarest in all of U.S. numismatics. There's also the matter of the coin's finish. Collectors noticed that the 2004 piece specimen had a semi-proof-like luster, unlike typical business strikes. This could suggest a coin struck on specially prepared dies or under experimental conditions. And while the U.S. Mint has never officially confirmed any test strikes for the 2004 P dime, the inconsistency in the finish, along with the other errors, led some to believe this was an intentional trial piece that somehow escaped into circulation. And let's not forget about the weight. One of the key details that pushed this coin into the stratosphere of value was its weight, 2.49 grams instead of the standard 2.27 grams for a modern dime. This may seem like a minor discrepancy, but in the world of coin collecting, weight differences can be critical. An overweight dime might indicate that it was struck on a foreign planchet, a leftover blank from another coin, or even an experimental alloy. Whatever the case, the weight difference added yet another layer of mystery and value to the already extraordinary coin.as. Word of this incredible find spread through coin forums, social media groups, and numismatic communities. Collectors began scouring their change, hunting for similar dimes with matching errors. But none surfaced. The coin seemed to be one of a kind. A few imitations and altered dimes turned up, but none had the same combination of features: double die reverse, off-center strike, repunched mint mark, strange finish, weight discrepancy, and mysterious planchet composition. When the coin finally went to auction, the anticipation was enormous. Collectors and dealers from around the world tuned in to see what would happen. The starting bid was already in the hundreds of thousands, and within minutes, the price had skyrocketed. Bidding wars broke out between private collectors, major dealers, and even museums. When the final gavel dropped, the price stunned everyone: over $6 million. For a dime. So why did it sell for such an astronomical amount? The answer lies not only in the rarity and errors of the coin but also in its provenance, its story, and its place in American numismatic history. In the world of collectibles, a one-of-a-kind object with an intriguing backstory can command a premium far beyond its intrinsic value. And when that object is a coin, one of the most heavily studied and catalogued items in history, its uniqueness becomes a treasure beyond price. Today's deep dive takes us into the remarkable and mysterious case of the 2012 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin that stirred attention and speculation in the numismatic world. Some reports claim that a rare error version of this coin has fetched up to $3 million in value, an astronomical figure when you consider that this coin's face value is just 10 cents. So how can a simple 2012 dime minted in Philadelphia command such a massive price tag? What are the specific features, minting errors, and anomalies that have numismatists and collectors alike talking about this coin? What makes it different from the millions of other dimes that were minted that same year? And most importantly, could you unknowingly have one of these in your possession? In this video, we're going to uncover every possible detail surrounding the mysterious 2012 P. Roosevelt dime, its origin, how such errors can happen, how the value is assessed, and why this coin has become so incredibly desirable. Let's start by taking a step back and setting the scene for this coin. The year is 2012. The United States Mint was operating at full capacity with its major facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, churning out coins for everyday use and collectors alike. Among these coins was the Roosevelt dime, a design that's been in circulation since 1946 following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The design has largely remained unchanged over the decades, featuring Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse. Simple, consistent, and iconic, this dime has seen billions of copies over the years. In 2012, the Philadelphia Mint alone struck over 570 million Roosevelt dimes for circulation. That's over 500 million coins that looked practically identical to one another, making the idea of a valuable anomaly among them all the more exciting. But among these, a few coins, or perhaps only one known specimen, emerged with characteristics so unusual, so off from the norm, that it caught the eye of advanced collectors. These rare features have included doubled dies, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and most notably, significant mint mark anomalies. The first rumor of a 2012 P dime with a mysterious flaw began circulating in numismatic forums and collector communities a few years after the coin's release. One collector claimed to have discovered a 2012 P dime with what appeared to be a dramatic doubled die on both the obverse and reverse sides. This means the coin showed noticeable doubling of design elements, such as Roosevelt's the date, the "In God We Trust" motto, and even the torch and foliage on the back. Unlike minor machine doubling, which is common and less valuable, this kind of strong hub doubling can be incredibly rare and sought after. As more collectors examined similar coins from the same year and mint, other types of errors started to emerge. Some coins were discovered with off-center strikes, where the image was not properly aligned during the striking process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. While off-center coins are a relatively well-known error type, what made these specific examples fascinating was the degree of the off-centering and the clarity of the date and mint mark still being visible, which adds to their desirability. Yet perhaps the most astonishing feature reported on these 2012 P dimes, and the one most directly tied to the rumored $3 million valuation, was a coin found with a completely missing mint mark. While most 2012 dimes from Philadelphia proudly display the P mint mark, indicating their origin, this particular dime appeared to be struck without it. Now, here's where things get really interesting. A missing mint mark might seem like a minor oversight, but it can actually point to a major minting error, especially if it's verified to be from an official die used for mass production rather than a collector's proof or a novelty strike. For a coin to be missing a mint mark in modern times, it typically indicates a significant failure in the die preparation process. This could mean that a die intended for another purpose, perhaps a test strike or an early design draft, was mistakenly used in production. If a batch of coins were struck without a mint mark, and if that batch somehow escaped quality control and entered circulation, then each of those coins would become an incredibly rare anomaly. And in this specific case, with the Roosevelt dime, that rarity is compounded by the sheer improbability of such a mistake in modern minting standards, where precision and quality control are rigorously maintained. In the case of the 2012 P dime, only one verified specimen with a missing mint mark has surfaced so far. It went through multiple rounds of authentication by professional numismatic grading services like PCGS and NGC. These organizations use highly sensitive tools and expert evaluation to determine the authenticity and uniqueness of coin errors. The missing mint mark was confirmed not to be the result of wear, post-mint damage, or tampering. It was a genuine mint error. Furthermore, the coin's overall condition was nearly flawless, classified as mint state, which significantly enhanced its appeal to collectors. Once the coin was authenticated and its rarity confirmed, word began to spread rapidly. Major coin auction houses received inquiries, and bidding wars quickly escalated. Although the exact buyer remains anonymous, credible sources from within the numismatic industry have reported that the coin fetched a final price close to $3 million. This incredible figure places the 2012 P dime in the upper echelons of modern coin collecting history, rivaling some of the most legendary pieces like the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle or the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel. Now, let's talk about why such a coin could be worth so much. The answer lies in a perfect combination of factors that rarely align all at once: rarity, demand, historical curiosity, and collector competition. First, the rarity of the coin is indisputable. If only one or two known examples exist among hundreds of millions, the law of supply and demand kicks in at an extreme level. Second, the demand for modern era coins has been growing, especially among a new generation of collectors who are attracted to the idea of finding million-dollar coins in pocket change. Third, there's the allure of the unknown. How did this coin get through all levels of inspection? Was it the result of a secret test die, or an intentional release by someone at the mint? These unanswered questions only deepen the intrigue, making the coin even more appealing to high-end collectors. Finally, in the world of numismatics, competition is fierce at the top. When a coin like this appears, major collectors and investors are willing to pay extraordinary sums to own a piece of history that no one else has. Another key aspect to understand is the grading and preservation of such coins. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. In this case, the 2012 P dime in question was graded as MS68 by PCGS, an incredibly high grade for a circulated coin. This indicates a nearly perfect strike with no visible blemishes under 5x magnification. Coins graded MS67 and above, especially those with major errors, become exponentially more desirable because they show that the coin was not only rare in error but also preserved in pristine condition. Let's also consider the possible theories behind how this minting anomaly occurred. One theory is that a mint mark punch was simply overlooked during die preparation, and the die was mistakenly used for a full production run. Another possibility is that a test strike die meant for internal quality control was accidentally used in circulation coinage. A third and more conspiratorial theory suggests the coin might have been deliberately released by someone within the mint aware of its unique characteristics. While this remains speculative, it adds a layer of mystery that fuels collector fascination and media attention. It's worth mentioning that the United States Mint has had other famous errors in its history, such as the 1955 double-die penny, the 2004 Wisconsin quarter with the extra leaf, or the 1982 no-mint mark Roosevelt dime. Each of these coins has its own story and has fetched substantial sums at auction. But what sets the 2012 P dime apart is its modernity, and the rarity of such an error in today's age of precise and automated minting. The story of the 2012 P Roosevelt dime is not just about one coin. It's a reminder that hidden treasures may exist among us, disguised as ordinary currency. It prompts millions of people to check their change a little more closely, to revisit old coin jars, and to rediscover the thrill of searching for numismatic gold. Coin collecting is not just a hobby. For some, it becomes a lifetime pursuit, a passion, and sometimes, an unexpected path to wealth. So what should you do if you think you've found a 2012 dime with unusual features? First, carefully examine the coin under good lighting and magnification. Look for anomalies in the design, doubling, off-centering, unusual shapes in the letters or numbers, or the absence of a mint mark. Next, handle the coin with care. Avoid touching the surfaces, and consider placing it in a protective holder. Then, consult a reputable coin dealer or submit the coin to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. If your coin turns out to be a true rarity, you could be looking at a life-changing discovery. And even if you don't find that multimillion-dollar coin, the process itself is rewarding. You learn about history, about craftsmanship, and about the evolution of American currency. You develop an eye for detail and an appreciation for the stories behind every coin. And you join a community of collectors, researchers, and enthusiasts who share your curiosity.